Do you think the 2020 framework, which is called FAIT, a popular name is FAIT, Flexible Average Inflation Targeting, do you think it kind of reflects the legacy of the Princeton School of Macro because it has a makeup policy term in it? You know, the whole notion that if you go way below, you're going to catch up. And I'm someone I think it's important. Now we don't always need makeup policy, but if you have something like 2008, the Great Depression, I think makeup policy is essential. So you guys are able to bring it in. In fact, Rich Clarida, I think he framed this in terms of as a version of Bernanke's temporary price level targeting. And Bernanke, of course, is part of that Princeton School of Macro. So how do you think about that 2020 framework?
Yeah, and I would say Rich Clarida was like instrumental during the process. He was vice chair at the Fed, of course, and we were reporting directly to him. He was basically leading this whole effort at the time. But I do think this fate feature was really important at the time. I still do think it's
Yeah.
important in general. And I guess as we talk about the current reform, we can talk again about the importance or not of including fate as part of the, um, the policy strategy. But I do think it's basically an automatic stabilizer that helps the Fed provide accommodation when you need it, and when the typical instruments like the funds rate are being hurt by the constrained by the effective lower bound. As you said, the FOMC removed the fate strategy from its statement and returned. I think it's accurate to say that it returned to the FIT, flexible inflation targeting without the averaging part. It has some merits in the sense that it's simpler, it's easier to understand. They are looking to achieve 2% over time. So there's no ambiguity about that. But I do think they lost something by removing fate. It was, as you said, intended to provide more stimulus at the effective lower bound, in effect by generating higher inflation expectations when inflation expectations were drifting down, when inflation was below the target and interest rates constrained by the zero lower bound. By generating higher inflation expectation, you are basically lowering the real interest rates. You are providing more stimulus. And that, in a way, provides more, creates an automatic stabilizer for the economy. So I think it has a very desirable feature that you see in other strategies like price level targeting, for instance, that helps stabilize the economy quite effectively. I think when you need it and when you are constrained by the zero lower bound. Now In its place, the FOMC revised the statement, but notes that the Fed is prepared to use its full range of tools, as they say, to achieve the goals at the zero lower bound. They don't really specify what that means, but I suspect this refers to the balance sheet and maybe forward guidance to some extent when they are constrained at the zero lower bound. Now, there is some disagreement about how effective the balance sheet is if you don't have a strategy that aligns with it. And so I think that's to be seen. But I personally do think it's unfortunate that the FOMC dropped the fate part. I fully appreciate it's not relevant now, may not be relevant for a couple of years. But if we do return to a low inflation environment, low inflation, low interest rate environment, it's a tool that could potentially provide the stimulus when you need it. And the strategy has relinquished its tool at this point.